Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Misha Wilcott. Welcome to the brand new show, live stream show, the Therapy Center, with our brand new live stream show host, Patricia Heredia. Now, Patty and I have been friends for a while now, and I had invited her to come on to be a live stream show host. Oh, and it hasn't been quite a year, and so we've been just kind of waiting for that divine timing to occur. And tonight's the night. And I just wanted to introduce her to you. For those who may not know Patty, she is one of our Star Nations magazine's contributing writers as well. And she has been writing for us, almost a year. And she's been writing a series about Oliver Twins. And so I'm going to bring Patty on and take the show away. Here we go. Hi, Patty.
Hey there, hi. I'm so glad to be here. So nice.
I know. I'm going to hand it off to you and let your audience know who you are and what you're doing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hi, everybody. And as I said, it is so nice to be here. Never would have thought I'd be doing this, but here I go, sharing. This is the very first time, as Neshi said, oh, look up here, that Neshi said that, as she said, that I've done a show. I've never done this before. So bear with me. It's kind of scary and it's a lot of fun. And I would like to share with you what I'm going to be doing for this hour. I hope for it to be interactive. So however you check in with Neshi, go ahead and do that. We're going to open it up later for question and answer. But I would like to recap on some high points for the people that did do the cleanse, because that's what I've been writing about. I've written now 11 articles, Neshi, 11 articles with Star Nations magazine. I know, isn't that amazing? Yeah. And they all have been about cleansing. There are good ways and not so good ways to cleanse. And then there are better ways. It's very different from fasting. And if you've been following the articles, you'll know you eat huge amounts of really, really, really nutrient-dense food. But we'll recap on that. And what I really want to get also tonight on the live show is the special, call it the metaphysical properties of some of the favorite foods that I have that are very much highlighted in the recipes that I presented for you. But there's over 50. They're called adaptogenic fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. And those foods actually act like medicine on your body. And for any condition to anchor into our actual physical body, it first starts in the mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. So it's all tied in. And I'd like to cover that as well tonight, and then open it up into answering questions and answer. So welcome and thank you for coming on. I don't quite know how many people are on, but thank you whoever's coming on. So appreciated. And spread the word to your news feed or your friends. That would be great. Get the word out. Okay. All right. So anybody, if you want to achieve health, whether it's weight reduction, or if you have a chronic condition, maybe you have chronic inflammation, gastro issues, you have allergies, to more serious conditions such as MS, cancer. It all starts with healing your internal system. It all starts with cleansing. And the first step, you go to the basics. And the basics there are three things that you do when you're cleansing. You remove, you repair, and you replenish. And of course, when you do a cleanse, you do it simultaneously. If you do a fast, that's very abrasive on your body, actually can hurt you. So this is not your fast. This is not your standard diet. This is a cleanse with the main organ, the big mama here, the liver. The liver is the major cleansing. It's your major filtering organ. The colon's your largest organ of elimination. Also, the colon's the largest of your immune system, not your spleen. So it's all about getting as healthy as you possibly can. So no matter what your condition is, cleansing is the first step, all right? But I wanted to share briefly how in the world I ever got into cleansing, because I used to be really ill. My whole life, I was ill. I was toxic. I had so many things wrong with me. Chronic upper respiratory conditions. I had rheumatic fever. When I was 4, I was bedridden for 4 months. I had problems with my feet. I had inflammation throughout my whole body, which evolved into, well, I never digested my food very well. I was over 30 pounds lighter than I am now. I was sickly. Would break off, very unhealthy. I had nonstop headaches. I had multiple skin conditions. I had acne, I had eczema, and I had psoriasis. I was chronically depressed. I never had normal periods ever in my whole life, okay? So check my notes here to make sure I got everything that I wanted to. High anxiety, oh, and I had major constipation. I would have a bowel movement maybe once every 4 or 5 days. And that's an indicator right there, healthy and regular with your bowel movements. So I began in 1988 I took a meditation class. That was the springboard for everything. I started to change my mind. That's where it all starts. It starts with changing your mind. And then I did energy work. Over a 4-year period, I lost track how many sessions. I started with Reiki, but I began to work on the mental, emotional, spiritual components of my soul, my being. And then in 1993, I did my first cleanse. And I must share with you how horrible I was, how absolutely pathetic I was. So I understand. That I have done, or that I've shared with you, or that I have at my clinic, I've done first myself. So I experiment on myself. All right, 6 days, 6-day cleanse. I broke it by inhaling half of a pepperoni ham pineapple pizza with a big glass of milk. Seriously, you know? And I did 3 cleanses that year, which they stretched out over a period of about 9 months. This isn't a magic bullet here. This is a process of allowing your body to begin to heal from the inside out. So then, approximately 4 months later, I did a better cleanse. I did 12 days, and I ended it correctly. Now, both of the first cleanses, I dropped a lot of weight, and it came right back on because mostly it was fluid. Where I was in the beginning stages of healing my internal system, particularly my liver. I keep mentioning the liver, I know. And then the third cleanse was a 21-day cleanse, and it was miraculous. Yes, the fluid and the excess fat came off, and it stayed off. And these are the things that happened. I stabilized with my weight, I stabilized at between 135 and 138. I'm 5'8", 5 feet 8 inches. This is healthy. Now I'm in my early 40s here. This is a healthy weight for a person. My skin cleared up completely. The psoriasis, the eczema, the headaches went away. I began to get my periods every 28 days. They lasted for 4 days and they were asymptomatic. Constipation completely disappeared. What else did it? Want to make sure that I cover all the things. Oh, I had severe gastritis, gone, healed. I didn't have any bloating anymore. And my mind got really, really clear. I could remember things. I could think clearly. I used to be able to read, but then not be able to give it back to people. I couldn't, it just would stay in my mind. So my mind got really, really clear. And then that was in 1993. And then I thought, how can I make my avocation my vocation? And it took a few years. And in 1995, I quit the day job and I started doing this kind of work. And I've been in my current location now for 23 years. So it is a process. It's a way of life, but you begin with the baby steps. You begin with the basics. All right. So as I said earlier, I've written 11 articles, all pertaining to the 4 most important adaptogenic food groups. There's going to be fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. There's about 50 plus of them that actually act like medicine in our bodies. And I wrote about that, and I wrote about cleansing from the perspective of healing the liver. Because if any of you have done diets and cleanses and fasting, you know there's a lot of information out there. This one is specifically from the liver cleansing. And yes, there are other important aspects as well, but for tonight's purposes and the article's purposes, I zeroed in on one of the main high points. Okay. All right. I'm looking here, Neshi, and I'm covering things quite quickly. Yes, all right. All right, I want to mention, I cannot mention all of them. And these are mentioned, I think they were in the second or the third article I wrote. I think the second article I wrote for Star Nations, and I think that would have been either May, June, or July. When these are listed, but I want to mention these. These are part of those foods that we have in our backyard that actually are adaptogenic. They actually are precursors that they're going to change everything about you, mental, emotional, spiritual, metaphysical, and your physical body. All right. Wild blueberries. Wild. If you can't get wild, then at least organic, but wild blueberries, and there's a particular reason why. Apples. Mangoes and papayas. Bananas, dates, lemons and limes, pears. And of course, yeah, there are other good things too. Narrowed it down. My favorites. Sweet potatoes. I love my sweet potatoes. Tomatoes, asparagus, all cruciferous vegetables, all of them, from Brussels sprouts to cabbage to cauliflower. Kale and spinach, sprouts and microgreens, and all of the sea vegetables, dulse and seaweeds, all the sea vegetables. Garlic and onion. Before I go on any further, this is what I'll do if I get the munchies at night. I'll go to my refrigerator, get out a pan, I'll throw some butter in it, I'll chop up half an onion, 1 whole huge clove of garlic, stir it up, put a little sea salt on it, yummy, yummy. It is so good for your body. It is so good. Ancient people knew this. The mythology about putting garlic around your neck to ward off the vampires, well, it kept your immune system strong. That's what it did. All right. Nuts like almonds, walnuts, cashews, and Brazil nuts. And then raw honey and pure maple syrup. The real deal, not the fake deal. Okay. All right. So what I want to talk about before we go into a recap on the actual liver cleanse, I want to talk on not all of these foods, but my favorites, the powerful healing medicine of these. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the enzymes and how it goes deep into the pockets of the liver or the kidney. We know that about vitamins and minerals and all of that, amino acids. I want to get right into mentioning this handful of most special food, okay? Because they have healing properties on all levels, metaphysical and physical. What does garlic do? Brings into your body and life protection and shelter when you're feeling fragile. So wear that garlic around your neck. No, really, eat it. All right, onions. Onions help you deal with anger and frustration. They purge anger out of your body. Helps to loosen up resentment. Frees you up. All right. Cilantro helps to bring in mental and emotional clarity. To find your path if you're confused. What's your path in life? Help you find your path and help you direction. I mean, how in the world can foods actually have these components to them? But they do. They really do. All right. Parsley will help center you. When you feel like life is a roller coaster ride, it's just one fight, stomping out one fire after another, bring more cilantro and parsley into your diet. Maybe even add it to your extra, like a whole handful to your smoothie in the morning. Right? Ginger. Ginger can cleanse us of our soul wounds, wounds of the soul, helping to work out the kinks. Gives us relief. You know, when they say take ginger for an upset stomach, gives us relief. Well, it gives us relief on soul wounds. Right. Sweet potatoes. Oh, as I said earlier, I love my sweet potatoes. I probably eat not maybe a whole sweet potato a day, but at least part of a sweet potato every day. If you need some comforting, eat a sweet potato. It'll give you a sensation that the world around you can just calm down and fade away. It makes you feel safe and soothed. Comforts. All right, now sprouts and microgreens helps you get out of the mindset of grieving. It plants seeds for new life, new opportunities. I'm not going too fast. Am I, Neshi? Nope. Okay, good. I know you're on mute. Okay. Radishes helps you get out of the doldrums, out of the rut of despair. So if you're depressed, there's so many foods that help you get out of the rut of despair. Leafy greens, again, they loosen up stored toxic emotions and guides those toxic emotions and guides them right out of our life. What does taking leafy greens into your gastrointestinal tract? It guides toxins and parasites right out of your body. It does the same thing emotionally. All right, all cruciferous vegetables, all of them. Helps us make way for patience and thankfulness in our lives. Thankfulness. We can have miracles in our lives if we just begin to practice gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness, and spread love. I mean, miracles can happen just with that. All right. It makes a difference in your emotional state. Celery, a biggie, a most profound. Please get celery into your life every morning. Freshly juiced, 2 cups every morning on an empty stomach. It restores the entire digestive system, which includes liver and kidneys. You can use it to calm yourself when you're frightened, when you're afraid, when you're defensive, when you're panicky. And we could go into so much on celery, but we're going to stick with this right now. Artichokes. If you're dealing with any kind of heart-related emotion, from a closed off heart, broken heart, artichokes will open up the heart chakra and ignite healing. Papayas breathe light into you. It pushes out negativity. It helps transform you. Breathe in the light, push out negativity, transforms you. Dates put a protective shield around you and releases stored up toxic emotions. Bananas. Now, how many of you seen the ad? You get on the computer, you get on Facebook, you get on your email, and there's a picture of never eat these 10 foods again, and it's a picture of a banana? What a bunch of, you know what? No. Bananas strengthens you at your core. In fact, if you have high anxiety, you're having panic attacks, eat a minimum of 3 bananas a day. Bananas literally release emotional fear. Just releases it out of your body. Okay. All right, apples. I've saved the last 2 of my favorites right for the last. Now, if you think of mythology, even in the Christian mythology, what do they show? They show a man and a woman holding an apple. Of course, they blamed Eve for the whole thing. But apples bring us back to source. Comforts us, gives us a sense of sanctuary, changes your energy to attract happiness, and lightens your spirit. How did ancient people know this? You know, I'm amazed at how much we know less than what what ancient people did. And wild blueberries. All right, wild blueberries is to the liver what baby's milk is to a mother, or mother's milk is to a baby. It grabs onto and hangs onto and transports out of your body troublemakers right from your body like no other food. Absolutely like no other food. Now, wild versus commercial. Wild, then organic, then commercial. Wild because they have not been touched by any kind of pesticides. They have not been destroyed by the hand of human beings. They are sturdy. They anchor into their energy this ability to adapt. The only creatures on planet Earth that survive are the ones that are able to adapt. Conditions always change. Everything comes and it goes. Between evolution and creation, well, it's both. And evolution means everything is changing all the time. So the inner core strength of being able to adapt and change, wild blueberries carries that energy in with them from like no other food. Conscious and subconscious, physical and metaphysical, conditions of the mind and soul. So those apples and blueberries and sweet potatoes and onions and garlic and celery. Okay, you know, if nothing else, please do those, okay? In between your cleanses. Maybe you only do the liver cleanse once or twice or maybe 3 times a year like I did when I started out. But please bring these life-changing, life-giving, adaptogenic, healing foods into your body. Okay, now just to quickly recap, I just looked at the clock and I have lots of time, don't I? I'm going quite quickly. All right, so to recap on the cleanse, it was as I said earlier, not a diet, not a fast. It was a cleanse that worked specifically with the liver. Now the liver works in threes. 3 days, it will prep itself. You load up your liver by consuming huge amounts of foods high in glucose. Now, glucose is the food for our bodies. It's not sugar. It's not fructose. It's not sucrose. It's glucose. It's what you get put on when you're in the hospital, okay? And babies, they consume glucose. We load our bodies up with foods that will really saturate our body with glucose. Then the liver goes into the second third. It's a 9-day liver cleanse, 3 sections, 3 days each. The third section, the liver in particular, begins to release from deep pockets, stored viruses, toxins, you name it, chemicals, begins to release from very deep into the cells of the liver itself and the rest of your body as well. But the liver, we're talking about the liver here, begins to bring them up. And on the third days, your liver releases everything and begins to just release. And you can do it safely because you have not strained your organs. When you just do a straight, like, oh, heaven forbid, water fast, please don't ever do a water fast. You'll hurt you. When you do it this way, you have completely supported your organs of elimination. You will go through it without healing crises. You will benefit, and at the end of it, your body and your liver in particular will have raised the bar, getting ready for eating better, do the best you can, and then the next time you do it, more happens. And perhaps by the time you do it the third or the fourth time, just like me, you'll be amazed at how you have changed on all levels, but how your body either way because you'll start feeling better and getting better. All right, so the very important part of the cleanse, as I said, 3 sections, 3 days each. Do not is it doesn't work if 7 days or 12 days. Your liver works in threes. So do it the way it's written out. It's go back in the previous articles with Star Nations magazine. It's in there clearly. The how, right down to an ounce of this, a cup of that, a half a cup of this, when to do it, what time of day, what sequence. So those particular things are already written. Refer back to the magazine. But I want to really emphasize when you get up in the morning, if you can, above and beyond the celery juice, you can do limes, you can do lemons. A nice big glass of freshly juiced lime juice and or the lemon juice. I like to do 1 lime, 1 lemon, but you can do either. Drink it right down, and then approximately 18 to 20 minutes later, 2 cups of freshly juiced celery juice. The celery juice is going to heal you beyond, it's a foundation. It's absolutely vitally important, okay? And then you can have your breakfast, your choice. Smoothies, I recommend a smoothie in the morning. You can put everything. You could put your seaweed in there, your dose. You could put your spirulina if you want, your wheatgrass powder in there. You could put all sorts of things, but no fats. No fats. It's called the rescue morning, but hold off on fats, like animal fats, but all fats, from coconut oil to avocado oil to peanut butter, the typical things that people like to put into their smoothies in the morning, yogurt, things like that. Hold off until lunchtime. And then when you're actually doing the cleanse, hold off on those fats until dinner time, the first 3 days, and then the last 6 days, there's no fats whatsoever. You don't need it, and it gives the liver a rest. That's the whole purpose for it. So I wanted to emphasize that. Juice and no fats until the evening on, well, what I just said. No fats. And the reason why is that the moment we add fats, the liver stops cleansing and begins to produce bile because it has to digest fats. So by doing it this way, you're really, really assisting your liver to keep on detoxifying. All right, so that's one thing I wanted to emphasize. Stick with some of the recipes. Some of you are vegans, some are vegetarians, some are meat eaters. I happen to eat primarily the meat of my choice is going to be fish of some sort. I will have here and there poultry, turkey, but I love salmon and cod. On occasion, I'll have beef. Very rarely do I have pork, maybe once a year. But no matter what you are, no matter what your normal choice is for eating, there are a lot of really good vegan recipes. And the reason why I say vegan is because they take out dairy, takes out gluten for the most part, eggs, all animal products, oils. Those are the things you want, the radical fats that you want to eliminate from your diet on a regular basis. So if you're vegetarian, you're ovo-lacto, you're still going to have the eggs and the dairy. Do the best you can. Maybe if you alter your diet and bring in, not exclusively, but bring in some more dishes with garbanzo beans or garbanzo bean flour or nut flour. You make your recipes, you adapt your recipes to include those nuts and legumes that are gluten-free. There's a lot of people that do have problems with inflammation from gluten. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. So dairy and gluten, it's the Achilles tendon for a lot of people with inflammation who have issues, who have health issues. So that's why that suggestion. pretty much, those are the high points. The rest, I don't want to go over the details because, as I said earlier, you can refer back to the articles you can find them on the Star Nation's past articles. So I would like to open it up. It's about halfway through. I would like to open it up to interaction with our guests and question and answer. And if nobody does it, Meshi.
Well, Patty, I thought maybe you'd like to know who's here, and I'm going to put their names up so you can see them, okay?
Julie, hi, Julie. Yes, I recognized your face. You were one of the first people on.
And Ed is one. Yeah, he's one of our live stream show hosts. He has Life Wisdom with Ed Langdon, and
hi, Ed.
He liked and shared the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Spread the word, not share. Is that Jocelyn Joaquin?
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
And we also, yeah. Marie is here as well.
Hello, Marie. Thank you. Dina, hello, hello. Nice to meet all of these people.
Oh, I know. Marina is also one of our live stream show hosts. She has Angel Therapy live stream. So you have colleagues here to support you today too. So
Good,
I don't see any questions quite yet. It does take a little bit because they're typing. It's going to take a little bit for them to show up. Here's more.
Sure. Judy, hi, Judy.
So I do have a question while we're waiting. Okay, juicing the celery or the cucumber, right? Compared to,
yes, either or.
Yeah, compared to maybe, because I have a NutriBullet. What's the difference between juicing and using, because I know that the NutriBullet, we still have the pulp with it.
The fiber,
but,
the pulp,
yeah,
the fiber.
Yeah.
Yes, people ask that question a lot. It's an excellent question. Thank you for asking it. Juicing is called enzymatic therapy. You condense, you literally squeeze out such an intense cup or 2 cups of the nutrients from the food that you are juicing, and it acts in more of an adaptogenic way. It acts more as medicine in your body because it's like therapeutic instead of like ongoing daily, like it's like an intense shot of the enzymes. That's why it's called an enzymatic. Whereas a smoothie or your NutriBullet is a powerful way to get a meal. Maybe you only do one a day. I do 1 smoothie a day. I don't do all smoothies. I have solid food as well. Because you can throw everything in, like I said earlier, if you want the spirulina, if you want it to be a meal replacement, your smoothie. Whereas juicing, it's never a meal replacement, it's therapeutic.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, and that makes sense. Because what I was thinking about was absorption, because I've learned, for me anyway, that's the name of the game. If my body will absorb or can absorb as much nutrients as possible, right? And I thought, well, juicing would be kinder on my digestive tract, and my body would be able to absorb more of the nutrients coming from the juice, rather than sending my energy to the digestion, the breaking down of the fiber.
That is one of the pluses as well. It's therapeutic, it's medicinal, it's high concentration and quickly absorbable. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just fascinated by that list that you gave us, that you shared with us.
I could have gone on and on and on. I cut it down. Isn't it amazing?
Really. And it's no wonder, because for those who are watching, I have done the 9-day liver cleanse and also the morning protocol. And I'm actually still on the morning protocol because I'm going to do another 9 days in August. And so I thought I'll just
Yay.
keep the protocol going, right? It'll be a lot easier.
Uh-huh.
And so it's kind of a lifestyle change. But one of the things that I noticed in the suggested foods is that you suggest dates. And at the time, I didn't understand why. I did it because I like dates. It gives you that sugary, that if you're craving. I was never hungry during the entire cleanse. Never hungry. I had
No,
cravings,
no,
but I was never hungry.
right. What were your cravings?
Mostly foods, mostly sweets.
Mostly what?
Sweets,
Sweets. Sweets in what form?
chocolate.
Were they breads or chocolate? Okay. And did you know that sweet cherries can help? And did you blueberries because they can help
Yes,
soothe it too?
yes, I did.
Yeah.
But the dates really kind of helped with that too because of the sweetness of them.
Good.
If I
Good.
felt
Good.
that, I had another date. So can you repeat about the dates again, the qualities of the date?
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Let me get that back out here a moment. And of course, I summarized it. There was even more on it.
No.
It puts a protective shield. It releases stored up toxic emotions. Protection.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Well, that makes
I
sense.
know.
Really, it does. Because if we're
Yeah.
healing or cleansing our liver, because that's the organ that stores anger and fear,
Anger. Yeah.
right? And so that would make
Yes.
sense that the dates would really be able to help with that.
Absolutely. These foods all
Light
work
bulb moment.
energetically.
Light bulb
Yeah.
moment. Light
Yeah.
bulb moment.
I, I know it. I know. I love the applesauce I shared with people where
Yeah,
I would take,
yeah.
yeah, I think it was 4 apple plates and a large stalk, not a bunch, a stalk of celery, and I put it in my blender. Oh, I love that. It didn't need any other sweetener at all. I liked applesauce without any sugar in it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just never put any sweetener into it.
Yeah.
But it's so logical that with all the recipes for vegan recipes where people have to stop eating the common ingredients of common food. So how do you sweeten? You want to do some baked goods. How do you sweeten? You use dates. And there you go. It's perfect. Dates and walnuts, dates and walnuts. Yes.
It's a good pairing.
Yeah.
You have a question here,
Yes.
Marie. I'm going to put it up so you can see it.
Okay, I find this extremely interesting. Love that different fruits and vegetables do different things for you. More artichokes for everyone. Yes. Yes. Do you believe that certain things are better for your blood type? Oh, I have been go way back. Again, when I started cleansing by Dr. Peter D. Adamo Jr. and Sr., he wrote Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And then when the Genome Project was done, they did the Eat Right for Your Gene Type. And I have found that, again, go back into the middle 90s, late 90s, I would tell people, if nothing else, get their book, figure out what category you're in, go there, take out the foods that are on your avoid list, okay? And invariably, women would drop 5 to 10 pounds, men would drop 10 to 15 pounds, and their conditions would either go away completely or they begin to feel better. Now, following their diet, it is, when I look at it and compare the two, because there's such validity in it, they were cleansing the liver. So what I suggest to people, and what I have done for myself, is that if you muscle test or pendulum test, grab that old food that used to bother you, hold it in one hand and put it right up against your liver. You know where your liver is? It's under the left rib. Just hold it right there. Get clear and do your form of muscle testing, where someone else muscle test you for it. Get your answer that way, because I don't know precisely if it's the modern versions of these foods that have been chemicalized and polluted that's causing the problem, or if it's inherently the lectins in the foods. Because, like, for example, gluten, it's not the gluten itself, because the gluten is the protein. It's the lectins in the gluten. In tomatoes, or the nightshades, because I'm blood type B, I'm not supposed to have any nightshades, which means no white potatoes, no tobacco, no alcohol, no eggplant, no peppers, no tomatoes. However, when I did all the major cleansing, none of those foods bothered me anymore. Well, other than gluten. I can feel achy in my shoulders and in my spine, upper back, if I do too much gluten. But here and there, it doesn't even bother me. So it's valid. And if people were to really focus on cleaning up their liver, they might not be bothered by some of these foods. Did that answer your question? Because I want to answer the question.
Yeah. Marie, let us know if you got what you needed from Patty's response. That was a good question, wasn't it?
Excellent question.
Yeah.
All of them are.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
the eating for your blood type I read years ago, and
Yes.
yeah, and I still do. I don't do the whole thing, but I do parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I can observe with people who haven't done any cleansing at all, that if I do get them, and it is difficult living in America to remove gluten from your diet. You cannot go out into a restaurant, everything's going to be polluted with it. You know, our we could call our national dish pizza, you know, with tomato and cheese and but I think it's the processing of the food that did a lot of the damage. And it is logical to eat the foods that your ancestors ate, because our bodies, evolution, adapting, our bodies adapted to the foods that were indigenous to the area of the world we grew up in. I thrive on fish, but on both sides of my family, I'm Norwegian on one side, and I'm along the Adriatic coast on the other side. So, yeah, it's logical I'm going to thrive on vegetables and fruits and fish, you know? And, yeah, and my body does. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Now,
I was just thinking about being Native American. That and I know I don't do well on processed flour. I don't. I do. I mean, I grew up with fry bread. You know, it's addictive, but I don't. I have it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, if that.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't do well on it.
Now, have you ever gone to another country where you have had their fry bread, like South America or Central America, and you were fine?
No,
A lot of people
down there, so I can't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people have told me that when they go home, for example, they either go back to Colombia, or that they go back to Brazil, but they go home and they eat just the food that's being grown in the backyard. It has not been polluted like the food here. It's not been devitalized. They always drop weight and they feel so much better. Then they come here and they gain the weight back.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
So
Here's Marie. Marie is replying to your question.
Yes. Stay on the poison list, or the foods that act like poison. Yes. And then get into your system more of the foods that act like medicine, which we are talking about, because there are those foods that actually will act like medicine. Yeah.
And then
Makes sense. Thank you.
And she adds,
List list, and now we'll try the test you suggested. Good. Thank you so much, because I love bananas and can't remember the last time I had one. I know, I will try to get at least one banana in a day. And then also I will grab things easy to bring with me to work, like an apple, a banana, things that I can just throw in my bag and I don't have to cut up or prepare. I'm big for prepping food a few times a week and having it all lined up in its little container or wrapper. So all I have to do is grab it in the morning and bring it with me. Yeah. Well, that's how it's easier to stay on track and make your own food, and you can have very nutritious ingredients, and you can eat what you want to eat.
Yeah, I found doing the liver cleanse during the week so much easier than on a weekend. And I think it's because,
Yes.
weekends are not as structured, as during the.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that might be a question for a lot of other people. And it is for me as well. I can be very structured in the middle of the week, and I don't go out a lot. I never go out for lunch, never go out for breakfast. And then comes the weekend and I become social. And people say, let's meet down here. Let's go out for happy hour. They have really good happy hour food. And I go, oh boy. And then I don't know if you remember this, Neshi, but you turned me on to good bourbon whiskey, remember? On our trip to, yes. Well, I am graduated. Yes, in Ireland. I am graduated to Manhattans, not just any old Manhattan, but I don't drink a lot, but I got a recipe that is the best I've ever had. So I owe it all to you, Neshti. And that is what I'll do on the weekend. Yeah. Anyway, not too much.
Yeah, well, let's clarify that a little bit. We were on a trip with many Cansmen. We were in Ireland. Well, we did Glastonbury, Wales, and Ireland. And I'd been to Ireland like 5 times. And we at our hotel, at our B&B. Was it? No, it wasn't a B&B. It was a hotel.
It was a hotel in Sligo.
Yes. And I introduced her to Jameson. And
Yeah.
and I don't drink all that much, but when I do, there's only certain things that I can have that aren't going to cause me some more problems down the road. So
Exactly. And too many of those Manhattans can cause me problems down the road too.
Yeah, no driving.
Yeah.
No driving.
Well, no driving.
Oh my gosh.
No.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the liver cleanse, I mean, I know we're joking around about the alcohol, but how does, because some people, that they do have quite a bit of alcohol. Sometimes, they're having a glass or two of wine or more a night. And so when they do the liver cleanse, is there anything that they need to be aware of or do, more carefully or anything?
Well, no, not more careful, but absolutely that kind of individual is doing themselves such a big favor by pampering and nurturing and cleansing their liver if they are going to drink that much, because that is excessive drinking. Drinking every day is excessive drinking. There isn't any other way you can slice it, and that will have an effect on your health. Is it going to have the same effect as if someone's an alcoholic and going through a pint or a night or 12 beers a night? No. So if someone does love that, then absolutely make part of your life protocol taking care of your liver and cleansing it, because we do live here. We do. And what we do the majority of the time makes the difference. You don't have to be perfect. Maybe that's a good thing why you and I brought this particular subject up, why it came up. No, you don't have to be perfect. And a lot of people will say, well, if I can't be perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. No. Just let that go. Do the best you can, knowing that even the little bit that you do is beneficial for you. It really is about loving yourself and taking care of yourself. And that's one of the best things that we can learn to do. And part of that is not to be judgmental or critical of ourselves. Do the best you can.
Right, right. Be kind to yourself is what you're saying.
Be kind. Be kind and loving to yourself, and don't let who wants to be perfect anyway? I don't, you know?
Yeah, the harder you're trying, the further away from it you get, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we're here to love and be loved and to enjoy the experience here. Yeah.
Well, I have another question.
Yes.
When you're done with a 9-day deep cleanse, right, of the liver,
Yes. Yes.
the following day, let's say you finished day 9, next day is day 10.
Yes.
What do
All
you do
right.
on day 10?
All right. You probably have leftover vegetables and fruits, possibly even if you made a large pot or something of some of the recipes that I suggested for the first 3 days, you might have put some of the extra, you didn't eat it all, in the freezer. Take that out, eat it. Pull out a recipe for one of my favorites is this, okay? I shared the spinach soup and tomato and garlic, raw, probably call it tomato spinach gazpacho. But there is, Julian, if you have the spiralizer where you can spiralize zucchini or cucumbers, I like to take a zucchini and spiralize it, zucchini noodles. And then I like to make my own pesto sauce with hemp seed. It's granule, chunks of granule, just like chunks of, it would look like Parmesan cheese, but it's hemp seed and fresh basil, a little olive oil, some lemon, and you stir it all up. Don't blend it because then it gets too liquidy. You just want to stir it all up and put that over those spiralized zucchini noodles, and then slice a bunch of fresh tomatoes on top of it. Oh my goodness, is that a good one? Things like that. The leftover vegetables, like I said, the fruits, make your concoction of what you want. Maybe one of those recipes that you really love, you want to incorporate into your diet. Eat more fish, say on the second, third day. Incorporate more if you are a meat eater. If you're not, go back to the recipes. There are some people that are really healthy vegetarians. There are others who are not healthy vegetarians. Please do not go back to a cheese pizza. Please don't do that. Do the best you can to keep out of your diet that very short list of foods that really are most processed and polluted. The homogenized, pasteurized dairy, gluten products, cakes, pastries, sugar things, canola oil, things like that. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
That's how I eat.
Yeah,
and I find that I'm eating even better. Asparagus. Oh, I love it. Now the season is here. I eat asparagus every day. Every day.
Yeah. When you were talking about the wild blueberries, it brought back childhood memory when actually we'd be taking my 2 older nieces and we'd go with my parents, we'd go out blueberry picking. And they they just got to eat. They weren't actually helping to pick, those 2 little girls.
Of course not.
And so, but we used to do that. And my mom would freeze them, and we'd have it, throughout the winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put
those 2 little
up
girls
about
were in their
100.
40s.
Yeah, I put up about 100 to 120 pounds of wild blueberries, and I have a chest freezer that an extra big, huge chest freezer. I still preserve food. I grew up on a muck farm. I have vegetables in my, It's my nature. I think in another lifetime I was probably a piece of asparagus, you know. But anyway, it is just natural. And when I was growing up, we preserved everything, fruits and vegetables. My mother even preserved watermelon rinds, made pickles out of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I'm naturally taken to this naturally, doing this type of thing.
You started quite young, is what you're saying.
Yes, I did, but it was not an organic farm. And I think I know part of my illnesses were all the pesticides that I was exposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you give people, I was just going to say, you give people hope that have been exposed to pesticides and they've been working on it maybe
Yes.
for years, and trying to rid it from their bodies. And now, they
Yes,
have a lifestyle change, because it is,
yes,
to be able
yes.
to.
And these foods that act like medicine, you ingest enough of them consistently for a long enough period of time, you're going to go into your body and into your organs and ferret out the heavy metals, the DDT, the pesticides, the viruses, and take them out of your body. That's the beauty of changing your diet so that you incorporate these adaptogenic, life-healing foods.
And
Yes.
it's gentle.
You'll just be healthier.
And you're doing it
Easy.
gently. Yes. It might
Oh, yeah.
take you,
Gently.
right. How long do you think
Yeah.
okay, so when you were healing your own body and you were going through this
Yes.
process, time frame, how long did it take before you felt healthy?
Oh, I began to feel healthy right away. I also was doing colonics, but I was only doing the colonics maybe once a month because that's all I could afford. I suggest to people that they do add in home enemas because your colon's the largest part of your immune system, helps flush things out. It's not necessary, but if you want to leg up, you want to escalate things. I turned from the time, remember I did the mental, emotional, all the energy healing. I started changing my mind earlier, but when I started doing the actual physical detoxing, it was approximately 9 months, and I could look back and say, I am a different person. I could see it, and I continued doing it. And then in the third year, I worked with a homeopathic practitioner out of England, and she helped me with 3 constitutional homeopathic remedies, and that took care of upper respiratory stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But gastrointestinal and skin, and it's all combined. It's all connected.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at our clock, and it's 3 minutes before the hour.
I know. I was going to say, I'm going to step off the live stream. I'll be in the lobby. I'll be with you. But I'm going to give you yeah, and so you can do your last words to your audience for the night.
Sure. All right. Thank you. All right. So as we close today, thank you for seeing my first show. Thank you for spreading the word. I'm going to be back every month, and I think the next one is August 5 at 8 o'clock. And I am going to be going forward from here for the rest of the year, probably even into next year until cleansing season again, with the mind-body connection. I'm going to be wanting to segue into our Change Your Mind, Change Your Life as well. That I'm a certified and registered hypnotherapist and coach, and I want to get more into that and have that be interactive as well. Possibly have guest speakers, and so that's what I would like to be doing and plan on doing. So please join me. And Neshi, if you would, you can, if anybody has any additional questions or wants to talk to me more in depth, you can let me know through my fan page, or you can email me directly. I think Neshi is going to put up my email. It's capital PHEREDIA 50 @hotmail.com. So you can email directly. I answer yes. Okay, so until next time, I'm not going I haven't come up with anything else, but until next time, I hope to see you again. Thank you.